Hey, so I'm outside here just before I think what's going to be another storm. I'm out in my backyard, just me and the cicadas. Hear them? So loud. Um, and it's been raining a lot. I've been getting a lot of storms, and I've been watching for storms. I feel like I'm constantly watching for the next rainstorm because I am looking at when we can get together outside on the patio, and I'm trying to hope and pray that it's not going to rain when that happens. And I started thinking about a time in the Bible when there's talk of a storm with Jesus and his disciples. And it's in Mark chapter 4. And in that chapter, Mark is sharing several parables that Jesus had taught. He had taught tons of people. Crowds were following him. And he's teaching them through these things we call parables. They're just these stories that had a lesson. And after he had gone and he had done a bunch of teaching, him and his disciples, they got on a boat and went out into the water. And this huge storm came up. And in Mark chapter 4, starting in verse 35, it says that that day when evening came, he said to his disciples, "Let us go over to the other side." Leaving the crowd behind, they took him along, just as he was in the boat. There were also other boats with him. A furious squall came up, and the waves broke over the boat so that it was nearly swamped. Jesus was in the stern, sleeping on a cushion, and the disciples woke him and said to him, "Teacher, don't you care if we drown?" And he got up, rebuked the wind, and said to the waves, "Quiet, be still." Then the wind died down, and it was completely calm. He said to his disciples, "Why are you so afraid? Do you still have no faith?" And they were terrified, and they asked each other, "Who is this? Even the wind and the waves obey him." So that's a pretty wild story. Probably pretty crazy to put yourself on that boat and thinking you're going to drown, and then Jesus gets up and just stops the storm. There are some questions that Jesus asks. He says, "Why are you still afraid?" And so let's look at that question today. What are we afraid of? What are you afraid of? And it could be a lot of things, and some of them big, some of them small. But what's making you afraid? Something to think about today. For me, I would say I have a daughter getting ready to move to college in less than 2 weeks. There's a little bit of fear of letting that go. But then Jesus said next, "Do you still have no faith?" And I think the important word there is still. The disciples had seen Jesus do so many things, so many amazing things, miracles. And if we're followers of Jesus and we think back in our life, what are the things that we've seen Jesus do? How has he moved in your life? What has he done? When has he come through in ways that you didn't expect or could never imagine? And then ask that question, do you still have no faith? Ouch. I think of a lot of times in my life where Jesus has come through and pulled me through times that I didn't think there was a way out of. And then I look at that question and think, do I still have no faith? That makes me just stop and think a bit. And then the disciples asked, "Who is this?" Right? Who is this that he can control the wind and the waves? And so that is a really cool thing for us to think about today. Who is this Jesus? Who is this man, that was God? And what does it mean to have him in our life? And how is that helpful to us? And how is it comforting to know that Jesus, who has control over the wind and the waves and the storm, whether it comes or not, whether it rages or whether it calms, he's our friend, and he walks right beside us all the way. So just a little storm-themed devotional for today. I hope you're doing well. I hope to see you maybe at the building at one of our JC Together events. And certainly, I can't wait to catch up with you online on Sunday. Bye, everybody.